Hello everybody and welcome to HEX Crypto Sparbuch team. Today we have Troy here, the HEX line of course. We have a lot of themes prepared for you. Sorry, that was a German word. And now we want to talk a little bit about our tour. But first, we're going to introduce Troy a little bit here. Troy, can you introduce yourself a little bit and how we met ourselves and how did we spend the last couple of days?
Well, the last couple of days, I'd stopped going out and been at my house just trading crypto and working on schooling and stuff. And then these guys came to town, and so they said they needed to have a good time in Austin. And I thought, well, okay, I guess I can come out of retirement. You know, I spent the last basically 10 years partying in Austin. That's like what I did, traded cryptocurrency. I started about 2012. I'd get a backpack full of cash, fly, go get Bitcoin, and come back, and that's sort of always been my job. I've never had what you would consider a traditional job.
I can totally see that because the last couple of days we were partying like crazy with you, Troy. You knew exactly where to go, what to do, and stuff like this. So thank you so much for doing this. This is exactly what we meant when we said we want to double the tour. We need the Hexican community to do exactly this. Feed us information where to go so we can have fun and onboard a lot of people, bring a lot of eyeballs to Hex. So why don't we talk about what I have here prepared for Twitter. It's going to go really, really fast. It shows us some pictures of Austin and what we do next. And then we go from there, I would say.
For sure. So also hello from my side, everybody out there. Hope everybody is doing great. And yeah, a special and big thank you to you, Troy, because first of all, Troy helped us out so much at the workshop as well. He brought a lot of friends and people to the workshop that we had a big crowd there. And the day before the workshop, one of the best parties, so definitely the best club party we had so far on the 5555 tour, only because of your connections. So thanks for that. That was a good time. We had a great party there. Good after party as well, no?
Yeah.
And and we left Austin like already a few days ago, and Troy said, okay guys, if you really want me to come on a live stream, then I drive the 1.5 hours down from Austin here to San Antonio. And also thank you for coming here. And Kaylin will also love it that you came here because you brought like those lovely donuts with you.
Oh yeah, those are some of the best donuts in Texas.
Cool, awesome. I already had one. I love them too. So really good ones.
Yeah, don't eat them all because I hadn't had one and I do want to try one. So let me share my screen here a little bit so we can do a little bit of Twitter. The only topic everybody is talking about right now, once we have our screen share up, you can see it, is of course the big diamond Richard Hart bought for $4.3 million. Amazing. Of course, it is 555 and 0.55 carats, the most maximum number of things of days that we can stake in Hex. So I think this is amazing publicity. What do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely. It's a black diamond, the biggest so far. 55 facets, like the cut of it is also like with 55 areas. And I guess we will see this diamond pretty soon in the background of Richard's live streams and help us to spread the word, because 80% of all media articles out there, they just say the anonymous buyer. But Richard didn't want to be anonymous purchasing it. He made it public on Twitter. Guys, help me out, spread the word. I bought this diamond and I have also all the bragging rights of it. And the first thing he is doing is renaming the diamond in the hex.com diamond.
Hex.com diamond, and look who is publishing that here. For example, National Geographic. We can scroll upwards. They have 27 million followers. This is the kind of media that is talking about Hex now. Maybe not directly, but then people go in the comments and they will see it was Richard Hart who bought that beautiful piece.
When I actually found out about that piece, a friend of mine sent to like a Telegram Hex memes page, and I was like, oh, 55 carat diamond, like that's funny. I didn't realize there was actually a diamond that he was going to buy, and when I first learned about it. And then when I learned about it, that it was actually a real diamond, I was like, oh man, this is cool. Like
and Richard said even in a week ago, hey, Hexicans, be careful, don't participate in buying stuff right now. He's going to, in bidding, don't participate in bidding because he is going to bid, right? Okay, so next topic that we have here is what we did in Austin last week, the workshop with almost 150 people attending, one of our biggest turnouts so far. And what you see here is Matty all in right after his introduction. So it's so awesome that we have the OGs coming to our events and helping us promote, right? This is what we need to do in order to make those events so big.
Austin, we had definitely had a blast. We had a lot of OGs, so thanks for everybody who flew in. Crypto Coffee flew in from Chicago, Team Money flew in from Vegas, then we had Maddie there as well. Lots of other OGs flew in. Somebody drove like, I don't know, 20 hours or something like that. So lots and lots of OGs. We also have here a picture of me and Crypto Heartbeat. So lots of Hexicans, lots of OGs, lots of new people as well. It's awesome to have such a big crowd at the workshop. So thanks for everybody out there for really helping us out with the tour. And yeah, we don't even want to end the tour.
We do not want to end the tour, but the tour is getting to an end. Here we see an Hexican making a picture with our car and also posting that. This is amazing because this is how the network effect's gonna start. 75 likes, I love that. So please, every time when you see our cars, you need to post it. This is what Hexicans do. Hexicans bring eyeballs to Hex. So what else do we have here? I drove home from this event and then I saw a billboard like this. I posted it, they reposted it, and I thought it was a big thing, but actually they only had like 600 followers. Unfortunately, Bitcoin adoption is not going really well, and this is why we have to bring adoption with Pulse and Pulse X in the future.
Can we also make a quick shout out to Hodl Dog and show him that we also have a dog participating in our stream today?
Yeah, can we shout that somehow?
Zilla.
That is
Come
funny.
here, Zilla.
There we go.
Yeah, this is Zilla.
There we go. Here we go.
He's a good boy.
Dogs are always welcome in our houses, of course. So what else is there to talk about? So tomorrow we're gonna be in San Antonio. We are already in San Antonio, but the workshop starts at 5 o'clock. The social hour, 6 o'clock, the workshop. So please, if you are close, come and bring your friends and family. This will help double the tour. This will help bringing the eyeballs to our workshop. So if you want to attend, please RSVP on freedomtv.info. And then when you do, you see this beautiful picture here. PulseCon 2022 in September, right?
Yes, it's September, starting the 6th to the 9th, where freedomtv.info, Tony, with a bunch of OGs from the Hex community, is putting together the PulseCon 2022, 4 days of events and networking. It will be held in the new hotel in the World Resorts, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Such a nice hotel. We have been there already with Patrick. It is really, really great. So this is why I'm excited to go there. I will buy my tickets right now. And here, this is what I actually wanted to show you. Of course, the calendar, the San Antonio workshop is here, the Phoenix one. And also we have a dinner with Crypto Sparbuch in Las Vegas. You can sign up for that as well. And then, of course, if you want to go there, you need a ticket. This is what you will find at hexticket.com. Just click here, and then you will find the link here for the tickets. $369, not too much. Only buy it if you have a staking ladder already. Otherwise, it's too much lost opportunity. But we have so many Hexicans right now. We have 75,000 people. Last year, when we... Even more, of course, but last year when we started the first Hex conference, we were so small, so I'm really, really excited for this one now.
Yeah, and I guess that was it with
That's
Twitter,
what,
right?
not quite it, just the last little thing
more?
here. We have to welcome new Hexicans to our community that we never thought we would bring to us. Here, first of all, it is Tom Gillespie. If you do not know who it is, he is making documentaries about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, and he's now making a documentary about Hex as well. So I made him this as a present, and I think he likes it. I communicated with him already, and he sent me a lot of nice words. Thanks, Tom, for that. And then the next member, I like him a lot already. It is this guy here, Eric Wall. He was talking really, really bad about Hex. When he met Richard Hart 2 years ago, he had the opportunity of a lifetime to buy Hex. He didn't do it, and now he had to talk in front of the boss why he didn't do it. He almost got fired, and now he is saying, I can prove it right here. Announcement, I'm joining the Hex community, so I made him a little welcome gift here as well. Well, this is from my side, so now let's start the interview here.
Yeah, so thanks, Troy, for the for the patience. And you said you are like already since 10 years in the crypto market. So how was it possible for you to find out about it so early?
It's a long story, and it's I kind of that's why when people say what's your favorite thing about Hex, I say the Hex part, You know what I mean? But I started out with cryptocurrency. I lived in Austin, Texas. The nerdiest kid I know told me about Bitcoin. I think that anybody that learned it back then,
Yeah,
that's
it
how
was
they
like,
learned
yeah.
from, was the nerdiest person that they knew. And so I knew a person in Chicago I could get Bitcoin from, and also I knew people that needed Bitcoin. So I would sell Bitcoin and I'd buy Bitcoin. And mostly it would happen, I bought Ethereum at $1 and then it went to $20. So what do? You sell it because you just 20 extra money. You don't have a job. You're a kid that wants to party. So that's sort of how I got into the crypto community. And
I hope you didn't sold all your ETH at $20.
I didn't sell all my ETH, but no, I sold most of it. But I bought back in. I mean, that's, you know, when you don't have a job and you don't know how to really manage assets like that, then to a young kid, it's like, well, hey, that's a lot of party right there. I just turned not so much party into a lot of party, you know, and that was sort of the basis of how I traded crypto and how I was able to get by and do all sorts of luxurious things, being a 19 and 20-year-old kid.
And I think this is exactly the problem, right? So how many people actually sold their Bitcoin too early, right? The Ethereum too early. You just told us this story, and that's why I'm so happy that I staked really early in Hex right away to protect myself from exactly this mistake.
What was like why did you find to the crypto market and stick to it? Was there like any overall reason? Do you like this money system better, or?
Well, so I learned what cryptocurrency was when I was about 16 years old. So, I mean, the United States dollar doesn't really make any sense, right? Basically, they have money, they give it to people. That's sort of the basis of the United States dollar. And cryptocurrency, it just made sense as an asset, you know, for Bitcoin back then. If you wanted it, you could buy it or you could mine it. It was relatively the same cost depending on how long you had to obtain that Bitcoin. So that's, whenever I started trading, you know, when you're about 15 to 16 years old, that's when you sort of start to really understand how finance works in the world. And so crypto just made sense to me before, you know, equity and all the other United States dollar strategies to move wealth around.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So and then, I mean, many years passed. You were like partying, increased your standard of life and all that. And then, well, there was a time when you founded to Hex, right? So when was that?
So a friend of mine that I knew from trading Bitcoin, and I've probably known him 10 years. He said, you know, you should check out hex.com, buy it and stake it. He wasn't shilling it that hard or anything like that. He was just
check it out.
just
Make your own research.
Do your own research, right? Do your own due diligence. Check this thing out. And so I did a little bit of research, and I was like, well, that's a pretty good coin, just because, like I said, I've had so many cryptos at points in time that it's not locked in, if it's not in a certified deposit, you sell it. And at the same time, I've watched the crypto market go up and down and up and down and up and down, and never thought this is the end of crypto, which is what a lot of people think, especially they buy, it goes down to less than they bought it for, and they think this is, you know, a bad investment. But in reality, if anybody bought crypto in, say, 2015, regardless if it was high or low or what it did after that, if you had it today, you probably made really good money.
Yeah, so there is a saying, like, if you hold Bitcoin for more than 3 years, I guess it is, then you cannot be in the minus.
Yeah.
I mean, if you bought it like not
Right.
3 years ago, so some recently or something like that. Yeah, let's see if this holds true again, like in 3 years or something.
Exactly. Even if it goes down 90% from where you bought it, in 3 years, it's still always going to be higher than when you purchased it, because it's such a rapidly developing market, and because that's just the way Bitcoin works.
So for you who already researched like lots of cryptocurrencies in the past years, it was pretty easy to see the value of Hex, or?
Yeah, to see the value. Because when I look at a crypto, I used to look at more of like the utilities of crypto. 2017, there was a big ICO boom. A lot of people were all over the hotels that I met you guys at, and it was all about utility, but there was no guarantee that the wealth would stay there. And a lot of the time what would happen is people would give these people Ethereum for an ICO, and they just sold the Ethereum for cash, and that's kind of it. There was that was the entire ICO.
Yes.
So even though I was more interested in, let's say, a cryptocurrency that can help healthcare, or a cryptocurrency that can help cars, something like that, when I saw Hex, it was like, this is a cryptocurrency that can help cryptocurrency. So it's
That's
not
a nice framing. I like this
right.
framing.
It's
Yeah.
not actually what I was more interested in blockchains about, but it just made sense as something that if people do this, then this is a way to make sure that money stays into cryptocurrency, as opposed to people selling ideas using cryptocurrency as the next vehicle to obtain a bunch of money and then basically just run off of it, you know.
So what do you see when you researched Pulse Chain or Pulse X?
Well, so Pulse Chain and PulseX that's Ethereum is such a great application, it's such a great token, but the problem is the cost of it. There's no utility. You can't ask somebody if you want to interact with a contract, it costs $10 just to look at a piece of paper.
Yeah,
So,
that's like a no-brainer. It's like it's not scalable. That's
It's-
like
right.
the biggest problem.
right, it's not scalable, and it's also the people that make money off of Ethereum. It doesn't appear that they're looking to make it scalable immediately. They're more interested in security and the research of what a smart contract can do than they are of making a scalable coin. And then I knew people that traded Cardano. My friend called me about Solana, and I actually made pretty good money on Solana. But they all missed this kind of point that ERC20 has the best technology. ERC20 is, in many, other than the cost and scalability, it's the absolute best smart contract out there. And these other smart contracts would come around and they'd say, well, we're going to try to do it a different way and it'll be cheaper. And then you've got things like the AVAX network, which is just somebody copied the Ethereum network, but they don't actually have the business management skills and project development skills to ensure that it's a healthy community. So when I saw Pulse Chain, I thought, well, okay, so we have all of the research Ethereum has done. We have all of the technology that's been, open sourced, but managed in a way that is accessible, because it's scalable and accessible, because there's not these crazy fees. That's a huge deal. And any time that the Ethereum network was attacked, it was always these sort of people with money lost money, but nothing really bad happened, like data-wise and stuff like that. But with Pulse,
Yeah, and it was not. I wouldn't consider it a hack, because it was just bad execution of new smart contracts
Right.
from those people,
Right.
and like the DAO hack or something like that
Yeah.
was worth
I was there
150
that
million.
day. I was
Yeah.
there. I knew people that were.
So they
very
were
disturbed.
just missing a little code line to write in that this smart contract is like private or something like that, or that this smart contract cannot delete itself.
Yeah.
And then just somebody openly came in and played around. You just tried out things, like coders are used to do that,
Right.
and tried out like a delete function, and it worked.
Right. Well,
or
that was the execution function. That
Yeah.
was 2017. So, but before that, there was the DAO hack,
Okay.
where everybody bought into the DAO and got robbed, and then that's what the Ethereum classic.
yeah.
Ethereum story. But where I was going with that is that it was okay because it was all experimental, but Pulse kind of it's taking a long time to come out, but that's because it's not just some live tested code. It's not some code that you use this, it might work, you might lose all your money. It's something that this is a working finished product that's coming out of the box, ready to utilize at a scalable price, and who knows the possibilities.
Yeah, what kind of possibilities do you think?
I mean, I think logistics is probably going to be one of the earliest things that blockchain, if blockchain is able to accommodate logistics, very quickly logistics, shipping, trains, all of that stuff will switch over to blockchains, and Pulse Chain could be an option for applications to be built for things like that, and then
Like for
healthcare as well.
fast on-chain applications, like fast on-chain dApps for
Right,
companies?
right.
Okay.
Yeah, so that, and then with healthcare as well, just because there's so much money in healthcare, and a lot of it, people just know that it costs a lot. It doesn't really make sense why it costs that much or how it costs that much, and a lot of it is just credentialing and making sure that everybody gets their piece of the pie in healthcare. But it ends up being right now that the main guy that gets the piece of the pie in healthcare is the person who makes sure everybody gets their piece of the pie. The doctor gets a little bit, the nurse gets a little bit, the people that made the medicine get a little bit, the people that made the tools get a little bit, and the person that hands a little bit out, he gets a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So with Pulse
Like to
Chain,
share,
it opens the opportunity for decentralized applications to basically cut that middleman out.
But what do you think? Do we need coins that fix certain problems, or do we just need a financial product on a blockchain that allows us to have money to do whatever we need to do? Like we have those two things here. Either we use a coin for whatever reason, healthcare, insurance, then real estate, or we just use HEX in order to make dollars to buy healthcare, insurance, and real estate. You see what I mean? Because I don't think if we need blockchain on every single thing, because the only thing that we need is trustless blockchain, so we can use financial product on that, right?
So that blockchains only need to be there when there is a need for censorship resistance.
That's exactly what I meant. Yep. Like, what do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's the whole point, though, is that the protocol exists and it empowers individuals so that if they have the desire to do something, they do it, and that's why it's I have an equal love for things like HEX. And I have an equal love for the things of the possibilities for Pulse Chain. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, HEX is a good crypto for crypto, and now that you have a good crypto for crypto, it empowers crypto to be able to fill in niches and not fill in niches, and we don't have this. There's opportunities for the world to work and operate in different ways, but there's no requirement.
So Troy, we hadn't had an interview for such a long time. Normally we ask 3 questions all the time.
The third one is still missing.
The first question we already had, right? The second one, when you find to HEX, we had Australian. When was that again?
HEX was, I think, April last year.
April last year. And then the last question is, what is your favorite game theory in HEX? You already said that you like that HEX is for crypt, right? Because in HEX the participants are playing like they are behaving for the community. So what is your favorite part of the game theory? For me, for example, it was definitely the staking mechanism, right? That I could save myself from myself. Then later on, I understood, okay, no, actually everything is together, and this is why we did 10,000x, and then it was the 10,000x, my favorite game theory. But now actually it's just the stickiness, you know, because we have the game theory, we are talking about that 24/7. Hexicans are doing amazing things, and now it's just the community that is my favorite part of all.
Yeah, the staking is like such a groundbreaking thing for crypto. You know what I mean? That's kind of my favorite part of the game theory, but also for me, I don't want to have a lot of money in a long time, and everybody has different goals in life. You know what I mean? So some people might want to have a 15-year stake with their ladder might get bigger going up or bigger going down. You know what I mean? They might my favorite part is kind of trying to watch the community as a whole, see where is this community's, are we going to be the strongest we've ever been in 7 years, in 10 years, in 15 years? You know what I mean? I assume it'll continue getting stronger, but there's sort of, when technology comes out, there's more pivotal points. And that's, so my favorite part is certainly the staking, but how long I have stakes in all, I want stakes in all amounts of time frames, right? But how much in each stake, it's really hard to say. You know what I mean? Because
it's so individual, right? Right now, the average staking length is 6.1 years. When HEX started, it was way lower, right? We went from 4.8 now to 6.1. This is the best metric, I think, that we have in HEX, because here we see that people that believed in HEX already are trusting it more and more because they're restaking their money for longer, just like the behavior of participants should be in a system like this. It's just beautiful.
And also when we are doing like your personal staking strategy part of our workshop, then I tell always the crowd that this is like a really individual thing, and in the end they see what they can do, and in the end they should see, okay, I should use like the whole time frame possible, but I can make multiple stakes, and I don't need to put equal amount of hex in each and every stake. So now I can just go to myself, look at my environment and my life, you know, what I want to have in life, and then I just get to a good point where I want to have access to the most amount of my portfolio, how much money I can put for 5555, yeah, that I can still sleep well in the night, yeah, and how much flexibility do I want to have, like short term, which depends like of the volume I put it into Hex, right? So all this, sums up to your personal staking strategy.
Right. Yeah.
You know what, guys? I just thought about my favorite game theory. I think it's just changed again because look, we have the compounding effect. No, seriously, Patrick, we do our workshops, right? And in the middle of our tour, somehow we changed a little bit in our workshops, which was the compounding effect. We wanted to show that a little bit better. So we showed them people then two things, which is the daily payout in Hex that gets paid out to the staker class, and then also the daily the T-share pool that we have right now. How much Hex gets paid out to all of those shares, right? And right now it is 6 Hex. But because we know the game theory behind Hex, we know where those numbers will go, we know exactly that in the future we will earn more Hex per 1 T-share. And I know that already, so I can stake out long and earn that much Hex in the future. But I have to do it right now, right? Because the T-share price is going up. So what I'm saying it is just explaining the compounding effect, those two numbers. It is the interest, right? How much gets paid out and how many shares we have. I know those numbers will go in this direction.
Yeah, so the number of payout total daily will go up because Hex is a inflationary coin, so the inflation gets just summed up. That's why the daily payout gets also slightly bigger over day. It just fluctuates because of the penalties, and this payout goes to the staker class, to the pool of all shares, and this pool of all shares has a deflationary character because, as you know, nobody can cheat the Hex system. The function longer pays better always needs to hold true, so no staker can get more T-shares by restaking principal plus all the accrued interest for the same amount of time again. And by making sure that holds correct, we have the share price. This share price always goes up. That's why it will always need more and more economic energy to get to the same amount of T-shares than before, and constantly T-shares get burned. So we will see a decline over time of the total T-share pool.
Guys, half an hour is already over. Should we start talking about price a little bit? People are always interested in
I
what
would like to. Do you have a question for us, Troy?
How many Hex do you have? No, I'm kidding.
In us.
Yeah, I do. Let me think about that though.
So Hex live in the house as well. He's saying get him. Vinix is just sending out emojis. So a little bit of traffic here in the chat, guys. If you have questions, it is now the time to ask the Hex line or Troy or myself. Of course, just ask whatever you want. Get active in the chat.
We have an experienced crypto trader here, guys. So if you want to get some free calls.
And as a crypto trader, I bet you it's interesting for you as well to look at the chart. But Patrick is never using any indicators. How about you? Are you using any indicators in order to look out for a price?
Yes, I do use indicators, but it's more of, again, if you buy it and you hold it 3 years, you're gonna make money, right? So that's the main thing. But I use indicators, but I also just use sort of the news, because if you know, I've watched the pattern happen so many times. A coin comes out and then people talk about it on Reddit and then goes to an exchange, and after it's on the exchange it pumps and maybe then it dumps or whatnot. So it's the charts are good, but it's also for the people that make real gains, they're able to spot more of social cues within a coin's trajectory. But that's the problem, is that causes an extreme amount of stress on the brain, and it's really not healthy for you to do that. To sort of try to predict what's going to be the next thing. And that's why it's so nice that you can just buy some Hex and stake it, and it will go up. And then who cares what the specific application this day or this hour is, as opposed to back when I was trading like Pure Coin and Prime Coin, it was like there's like live chats, and all of those coins I think are probably worth nothing today. But back then it's like the last thing you think about before you fall asleep, and the first thing you think about before you wake up was whatever I was doing on the computer last night. Did I just make a bunch of money, or did I just lose all my money?
And then also, of course, also leverage trading, right? This is exactly the thing that traders are telling me, that you are unstressed 100% because you're doing 100% of leverage or something like this. So here we have
trading is stressful. Yeah,
trading is stressful. Nice question from the
do
chat.
You still do so much trading, or
yes, I do some trading from time to time,
but less than in the past.
Right, less than in the past. Yeah.
And more like not like those day trading anymore. More like
not like day trading. More like I'm able to look at a coin and say, I'm going to put a little bit of money in that coin, and I know I'll make a little bit of money off of it, instead of the sort of fully degenerate 3x leverage, all or nothing type of trading. And that's why I even tell some of my friends that trade crypto sort of on more of a swing pattern, 2 days to 5 days. I've gotten a lot of them to buy HEX because they're like, you know what, I'm going to buy the HEX and I'm going to stake it. They're not doing it with their entire crypto bag because they day trade, and you can't day trade if it's in a stake. But because it's such a like a nice asset to have over the long term.
So since we are talking about trading, Hex Life is asking, what do you think about PLS and PLX ratio will be right off the bat?
So
the situation is this.
I know what the question is. So it's not the easiest question
I know.
to answer. So if we think that the OA makes the same percentage move than with Pulse Chain, I guess we will end up with nearly double the amount of coins for PLSX compared to Pulse Chain. So I think the ratio in the beginning will be 1 Pulse gets 2 Pulse X, or 2 Pulse X get 1 Pulse.
Nice, 1-to-2 ratio, right? Yeah. So Hex Life is also asking another question that we do not need to answer. Meta Knight, I sacrificed a decent amount of USDC for Pulse X just today. Do you think it was a good move, even being so late? And here it comes, what you just said is really, really important. If you hold it for 3 years, who gonna care, right? You definitely will be making money on that because it is a 10,000x opportunity. If you haven't heard about Pulse X like 1 or 2 months ago, like how could you change that? There's no possibility changing that. So just change your mindset. Go from there on that you sacrificed today. That was an awesome move and baller move, actually, because imagine how many people will not sacrifice for Pulse X, so did not even know,
It also matters the current stakes that you have and the current where your assets are. You know what I mean? Do you have 50 stakes open? If you have 50 stakes open and no Pulse X, then yeah, go ahead and sacrifice for Pulse X. So it's hard to answer. It's kind of like saying, how long do I want to stake how much HEX, because it matters to the person. But I think that, in 3 years you probably won't regret at all having sacrificed Pulse X today, though maybe there was something you could have done to make a little bit more money. Who knows?
I totally agree on that, and that's why I also officially our crypto Sparbox strategy was to sacrifice when the rate was the best, between the 29th of December till the 10th of January. We told them in the first week and in the second week, okay, but as of right now, our official recommendation would be now to buy HEX, and for more Pulse X and Pulse, wait for the fork.
Why would you buy HEX now?
Because everything what I buy into HEX right now, first of all, it's kind of at a discount, because our all-time high was over 50 cents and now we are at 20 cents, 21 cents. So there I have less risk of further downturns. And I already saw the 70% downturn from the all-time high. So looks kind of good to get in now, from a risk perspective. And also from a risk perspective, with the fork, I will double my bag. So I don't see I see there a better opportunity right now, and then with additional money go into Pulse X in the beginning, either like right in the beginning or after the first cycle.
And then also we have people talking about parity. Patrick, could you maybe go into that topic? Give us a little quick elevator pitch of what that could mean.
Sure. I just want to go one step back to the question to the comment what Hex Live made. He said he sees a lot of people talking about a 10-to-1 ratio Pulse to Pulse X. And I can also see that. But you asked me for the initial ratio. And I think the initial ratio will be 1-to-2. And then it could shift drastically, because I see a lot of people who are sacrificing for Pulse X and they only want to have Pulse Chain coin. And the same like after the sacrifice phase or already starting right now, people will more likely buy more Hex because they get the double, and with the copy they can move into Pulse or Pulse X right after the fork.
So Nuclear something is saying everything you buy gets doubled with Hex. Well, actually every ERC20 token, I would say, right?
Yeah, so only the Ethereum blockchain gets forked, and Ethereum itself is a speciality. It will only become free pools, so that's actually a bad deal, because one Ethereum as of right now is worth over $3,000, and one pulse in the beginning will be less than a penny. So not the best deal here. So only keep like 0.1, 0.05 ETH in your wallet, what you really need for fees, and with this freemium, like 0.05 Pulse coins in the beginning, will be enough to make several transactions. So you won't be out, you will be still able to transact on the Pulse chain right away, even if you only keep like 0.01 Ethereum over the fork.
Right.
That's so great. You need so little in order to do the transactions in the future on Pulse chain. I cannot wait. So Troy, what do you think? What's going to happen when Pulse chain start? How will the staking ratio be different? Right, I'm waiting right now to do my 5-5-5-5 stake for Pulse chain to come out, so I can do it again. Right now, I do not do that on Pulse and Ethereum. I'm wait for that, right? And then when Pulse chain comes out, it allows me again to do staking 10 hex for, let's say, 10 days and still be profitable. So we have a lot of people that will stake differently. What do you think? Where are we going?
That's a hard question. I was actually talking to my friend about how Ethereum has all these problems and it's a slightly broken network, and Hex has still performed so well in that chaotic environment. So I can only imagine how Hex is going to perform in a better network like the Pulse chain. So I have the same problem that you have, actually, of not knowing if I want to open stakes now to wait for the copy, or if I want to wait for the stake for the fork to happen and then make some new stakes then.
So maybe we can ask Patrick here. What do you think, Patrick? What should we do? Should we wait for Pulse chain and then stake, or should we stake right away?
That's an individual question again. You know, if you don't want to look at your portfolio, of course, you for the next 3 years, of course, you go and stake now, because you don't need to go through this time of the highest volatility, because when a new blockchain comes out, it's like the time of the highest volatility.
Right.
We saw this in the beginning of Hex as well, you know, then we are not speaking about 75% drop, so 80 at least, you know. So that's a hard thing to do, you know, and then save yourself and stake now. But if you're like an experienced trader like Troy next to me, I don't know if you maybe want to have the flexibility, because you might still be focused and just see the opportunity in this huge volatility, you know.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and like you said, it's such a personal strategy thing, you know, so it's more of what does the person want, because if you don't want the money for several years, then it's probably good to make a long play. But at the same time, if something might come up, and or maybe you know, any number of things, maybe you're launching an NFT project, anything, you might need some crypto right then. So it's hard. It's such a personal question, and it's a question that I even ask myself and struggle answering.
Yeah.
What do I want to do with my money?
I think it
Yeah,
depends
I
on
know
two
what you mean.
things. It depends on how much volume do you gonna stake and how long do you stake out, right? And if you can answer those questions and still be in the positive, yeah, go ahead and stake on Ethereum. The reason why I wait on Pulse Chain is because I want to put all my hex together into a stake for 15 years, and this is why I want to put a little bit more volume in it, right? And then this is the only reason why I stake for Pulse
To
waiting.
have the maximum.
Yeah, because what you can do after the fork, you can go on the Ethereum chain, take your liquid hex, send that in the bridge of the Pulse chain, and then you have bridged in hex on the Pulse chain. But
Right.
on the Pulse chain, you will definitely also have a trading pool like hex, hex from the
Right.
Ethereum chain, to hex on the Pulse chain.
Right.
So then you can just trade your hex, those from the Ethereum chain, to hex, and what you end up is just with more hex on the Pulse chain.
Right.
And then you can stake more hex on the Pulse chain and get more bigger pays better bonus as well.
Right.
And this is what I'm going for, the bigger pays better bonus. I think everybody should take that in account, because in the first time of Hex, I did not think about bigger pays better at all, and I did too many stakes. And now I'm like putting all my stakes together so I can participate from the bigger pays better bonus.
Should I
a little
line
better.
the bigger pays better bonus a little bit out for you? When you stake 150 million hex or more, you get 10% of bigger pays better bonus, and that's kept at that level. If you stake 15 million hex, then your bigger pays better bonus is 1%. So if you stake 1.5 million hex, then you have 0.1% of bigger pays better bonus.
Okay, so it's not that much, but if I get 0.1% of bigger pays better bonus for 15 years, how much that gonna be? You see what I'm saying? If you stake out for 15 years, it actually makes sense to get as much as you can. Like, tell me the positive thing of doing 2 stakes for 15 years and not 1 stake. There's none, right? If you make them from the same day anyways.
After the fork, I completely agree. I think that only the Ethereum whales will continue to stake on the Ethereum chain. And also on the Ethereum chain, I think we will get upgrades for the code, like another smart contract, not on top or on the side of it. And if you stake through this new smart contract, which just speaks with the Hex smart contract, you have the option to transfer ownership of the stake, or to make the shares of the stake tradable. So lots of options with new smart contracts. Their codes are already written for that. I'm thinking that will come out this year as well. And if you not want to have the option to access your whole portfolio over the fork, over this crazy period of time, then of course you can just stake right away. And if the fees are your concern, then just do it when it's like really low with the fee. Weekends, for example, maybe manipulate it even a little lower, because you can wait longer until a stake starts. It just does not need to go through within 10 minutes like it is with a swap. And then you can just go ahead and make your stakes, because if the fees are your concern, then in, let's say, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years from now, you end the stake first on the Pulse chain, which barely costs you any money, and then you can just swap some of these gains for Ethereum, and then you have the Ethereum needed to end the stake on the Ethereum blockchain.
Yeah, so there's always a possibility to get some Ethereum with what you just said, if you have Hex staked already, right?
Yes.
No problem at all.
Yes, no problem at all. That's true. Should we have a look for Pulse X and then to the price chart?
Please.
Please. All right, then let's share my screen here as well. And at first, I will start with pulsex.com. The sacrifice phase, just let's go over it. We see here only what is sacrificed from the Ethereum chain. We see that we have 1 hour and 10 minutes until the 10,000 points will get 5% more expensive, and that will continue for the next 10 days until the 1st of February. On the 21st, it will go in the last 5 days, as we can read it here. After that, 70% flat bonus, volume bonus activates for the next 5 days until the sacrifice phase ends. And this white line shows us where we are. We say to our community, please sacrifice here or within the first 2 weeks, like before it reaches the $2 mark. So we are just silent, like just relaxed and watching the rest of the sacrifice phase. What will happen afterwards? Afterwards, Richard will announce when we start with the pulse chain, what needs to be done after the sacrifice phase. The final calculations need to be done, who gets how much Pulse X token. Then there is some speculation of what you could possibly do with the Pulse X token, maybe some staking features. And what we also need to know is the name of the reward token and some testing of the automated market maker bot, who will, after the fork, harvest all the liquidity from the forked decentralized exchanges and re-puts it in the Pulse X exchange in order to make the Pulse X the most liquid on-chain exchange on the Pulse chain.
Really, really exciting times. Pulse and Pulse X will allow us to handle our crypto like we were used to when we started with Hex about 2 years ago, right? Penny transactions right now. How much are the Hexicans paying to the Ethereum miners just to do their transaction? It's a crazy number, right?
It's a lot, yeah. So especially one day of the sacrifice phase, it was like $500,000 alone, and each and every day it's like tens of thousands of dollars what the Hex community just spends or burns for the Ethereum network.
Oh, I know a guy actually that he opened he wanted like 250 stakes. He didn't really think about it, because it was like, what is that, $5 or something back then. But now
I also know a guy who has
now
like
now he's like, wow, okay, so basically, like if you want to go pick up your money, you have to go throw away $500 and then you can go get your money. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's really crazy, yeah. Because as of right now, just look at it, EtherScan, gas tracker. Right now it's like a little under 100 Gwei, so it's not that crazy right now. But still, like to do a swap, it's about $60 to do that. To start a stake, it's about $20, and then the longer your stake runs, the more gas it needs, so the more it needs to be calculated in order to make the transaction, and therefore the longer your stake, the more fees you need to pay for it.
Troy, you are in crypto for a long time already, and I believe something like this, where the fees went up because users are just doing so many transactions, had happened before in crypto in 2017. I think it was with crypto keys, right?
Yeah.
Was it the same problem that other communities were not able to transact on Ethereum anymore?
Well, yeah, so it basically hurts everybody because you're not able to transact on Ethereum to do like any day trading or anything like that. It's basically out the window. And then also any project that is trying to sell, there were legitimate projects trying to bring legitimate things to the market, and they weren't able to exist either because the gas fees were so high that investors are looking at it and saying that's not something that I'm willing to do. Because I was actually surprised I hadn't looked at gas fees in a day or two, and they're relatively low right now, but that's because nobody's really at the gas station right now. But once it gets full and once things are moving and things are happening, that's ideally when you would want something to be the most accessible and the most easy to use, but that's when the gas fees get the most outrageous. And I remember at some point in the bull market in 2021, I think a friend spent something like $1,000 or $2,000 in gas fees in just consolidating some funds to deploy them for another thing. He spent several $1,000s just in gas.
Oh yeah, that's so crazy. Yeah, it's sometimes in the thousands and so on, and it multiplies by the gas which is used,
Right.
needed for calculating the transaction.
Right.
And that's like the main problem. If we would only be like so. Let's assume it's only 1 Gwei, yeah, and a million gas. Okay, that's pretty cheap. But already, if it's like just 2 Gwei, that's like double the cost already. because it multiplies by each other, and that's what makes those fees so crazy.
But Perry, my question now would be, what do you think if all those sell pressure that we have to do in order to get Ethereum so I can do my transaction would disappear because now all my transactions are for free almost? Do you think this would be good for the Hex price in the future?
For sure, definitely, 100% for sure.
And then, Troy, when we had the situation 2017 with CryptoKitties and then the bubble popped, CryptoKitties went away because nobody was able to use it. The bear market solved the high fees then, right? What do you think will happen now with the NFTs, right? We have this situation because people love their NFTs, they're doing a lot of things, and everybody is using the gas station, like you think. When does the bubble gonna pop for NFTs like it did for CryptoKitties?
Well, that's actually, so Austin is one of the main environmentalist cities in America, and there's people that really don't like NFTs right now because they say NFTs are too environmentally insensitive. So they don't, and they think that all crypto is like that because they don't understand like the concept of green blockchains and proof of stake coins. So that's that. It's hard to say because when Pulse Chain comes out, I think it'll be really beneficial for NFTs to migrate to Pulse Chain because it's good for the environment, it's affordable, and most artists that are getting into art, the only artists that had truly successful NFT projects recently were the artists that were already very successful, but there's not many up-and-coming artists that have never made money in art able to use NFTs whenever it takes $80 just to make a piece of artwork yours. So the next bull market, we will see a big Ethereum bubble in the gas fees, and it's going to be a lot of money. But hopefully by then Pulse Chain is out to offload some of that because all that money, all those gas fees, they represent money out of your pocket, but they also do represent environmental harm. As it currently stands.
Oh yeah, 100%. But do you know other crypto communities right now that would also then migrate to Pulse Chain because their project is pretty much dead on Ethereum?
I mean, I think there's probably more people that will be willing to operate that weren't before, but I would imagine almost anything except for the most secured and most sort of research style crypto people would be more interested in Pulse Chain.
And I believe so too. I mean, they do not have to do anything. Think about it. Just change a little setting and all your coins are already there.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted to say. They will find coins there. So that's like a big incentive, to go there. And it's not like that everybody got those for free. So only if you hold the keys, you get like your copy for free.
Right.
So who will give that to you, to such a cheap price?
Right.
Yeah, maybe some people in the beginning, but if the community of other coins just stands together, bridges in the liquidity from the ETH chain, the value from the ETH chain to the Pulse chain, they can easily reach parity between their coins.
Right.
And they just need to work together, reach parity, and double their money.
So there you said it again, parity, the word. So give us a little elevator pitch. What is parity? How would it work? And when does it happen?
So how does it work? It means that, for example, let's take HEX, that HEX on the Ethereum chain and HEX on the Pulse chain just go with kind of the same price, that we can just make the comparison with like different stock market exchanges. So like the same stock in Canada is worth a little differently than on the New York Stock Exchange. That's like kind of, that's true, and that could it be for HEX as well, that it's just like a slightly difference. Let's say on the one chain HEX is at 50 cents, on the other chain HEX is on 49 cents, something like that. And how can that be accomplished? That can be accomplished if there is just an equal amount of buy pressure on both chains versus the sell pressure, or that can also be accomplished when somebody bridges in like a ton of HEX from the Ethereum chain and makes a giant pool of EHEX, the HEX from the Ethereum chain, to HEX, and makes this pool on the Pulse chain. Then it's just makes no price difference if there is a giant pool if people trade EHEX for HEX on the Pulse chain.
Patrick, it seems like you already know what I'm gonna ask you next because we have Daniel Polke here. He's saying, can we speculate about the ETH price in September this year? So I see you have the
ETH price.
I guess it's the hex ETH ratio that
The
he
hex
wants to
ETH
talk about
ratio,
because you
okay.
always only talk about hex and USDC, but
Yeah.
I guess the people are in crypto, in real crypto, so they also want to know what is hex ETH doing. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Sure, we can bring up
Are
my
you done
screen
by
share.
that anyways? Maybe you just want to finish that up.
I haven't screen shared this. What you see?
Perfect.
Here.
So let's go in for ETH hex
Yes.
first. Talk about that in
For ETH
September.
first, okay.
And
first.
then, of course, we're going to do hex USDC since there we have our highest liquidity. Troy, what do you think about that move from the hex community to put their liquidity in USDC rather than Ethereum, for example?
I mean, it makes sense for a lot of people because they don't want to bet on Ethereum because they're most people that join the Hex community, I think that they probably looked at the Ethereum community and loved everything until they realized how much it costs for gas. That's really the only true complaint I can have for Ethereum. Other than that, it's a great coin, but that's the big problem. So it makes sense to me that they wanted to stay loyal to USDC so they can take the amount of USDC and put it straight into the Pulse chain.
Oh, it helps a lot making Hex decorrelated from all the other crypto markets, right? And we have Hart's law when Hex, when Bitcoin and Ethereum, they move up and down together because they are trading against each other, right? So when we are showing the people the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Hex chart in our workshop, and everything is going down in COVID, but Hex went up in these days. I love it so much. I think this is also the reason why Richard Hart is possible to post so often the floor is lava, but in Hex, of course, right? Because only in Hex there is real trading going on the blockchain. Only if people buy and sell Hex, we have green or red. It's different with other cryptocurrencies where they are trading or doing is what Bitcoin is doing. So, Patrick, I see you have the ETH Hex chart already up there. Let's see your technical analysis
I just made
about
like
it.
a few lines based on what I see in the market structure. I mean, uptrend lines are always not that important, or they like to break, especially in my TAs.
So right now we only see
but I would
until April. Maybe we can zoom out a little bit, and so we can also see the September, because this is what Daniel Polke would like to talk about. So
the
Daniel, what
September
do you,
last year
what is
here?
your guess in September for
you
Ethereum
mean
Hex?
the September of this year?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see how far I can go. I need to go into weekly, I guess, to go further. Yeah. September. Here we go.
Nice looking chart.
September.
It's about to pop, guys. That's what I tell you. It's about to pop. I mean, 1 or 2 more months and we have the fork. $7 soon.
I mean, actually, like till September, if Ethereum is not taking a big downturn, what I don't know yet, if Ethereum may drop or not. If not, then I don't see like new all-time highs in the Hex East chart.
Oh, Hex East chart.
Yeah, we are still in the Hex East chart.
Here's the great thing, though. If people are gonna buy Hex, if the Hex price goes up, Hex ETH will go up, right?
Yeah, if Ethereum stays the same and is not going up as well, or when Ethereum goes down and nobody buys Hex, then this chart goes also up.
There we go. That's what I'm saying.
So that's why it's like hard to predict anything based on this chart. So
on how many way are we right now?
65,000.
65,000.
Yeah.
All right.
Remember when it was 400? Yes. So
let's go to our favorite chart again, the Hex USDC.
yeah, because honestly, guys, I cannot tell you too much about Hex versus ETH, and if you want to trade, you can maybe contact somebody like Troy.
Hex trading is also good.
What do you think about
based
based on the Hex ETH chart?
Oh, well, I mean, Ethereum and Bitcoin have kind of faked out. I thought that Bitcoin was going to go really low like a week ago, but now I'm not really sure which way Bitcoin and Ethereum are going. So because of that, it's the Hex ETH chart, because so many Hex traders are pegged to USDC. The Hex ETH prediction is a hard prediction to make. if Ethereum, I think Ethereum probably will go down before September. So
I also think so. Yeah.
yeah, but this last week I think that less than I thought 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's true. And anyway, my recommendation would be up front of the fork, don't hold a lot of ease.
Right,
So
right.
if you are just thinking, okay, when to move from ease into hex, when I look at the US dollar chart, it looks pretty good now.
Right, yeah, that's right. If you're looking, and when you're a crypto trader, you want to look at, I used to look at Bitcoin value, and then about 2 years ago, I started looking at my Ethereum value. But that being said, if you look at the USDC value, now is a beautiful time to buy hex. I couldn't tell last time I looked at it. It was about where it's at now. If it would correct down a little bit or not, but regardless, it still looked like a good time to buy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you why right here in this chart. It's the weekly chart of Uniswap version 1, where we see like the whole history of the price chart. And there this line goes like from the very beginning. It touches here in March, it touches here in around the big payday. Here in the beginning of last year, it touches again in the mid as well. And then here it nearly touched and comes down now like last week to touch this line again. And yeah, you see we had the 77.5% drop already. We had, like, you could say, a fake out and another test, and it looks pretty good. And if we just go with the hex price like it did in the past, you see like 500% up, thousands of percent up. So if we just make a little estimate of, for example, here 620% up from the low would be 84 cents, a new all-time high already. And I can really see hex go to a new all-time high now up front of the fork, because in 2 weeks we will end the sacrifice phase. And then what will the people buy? Because if they sacrifice for either project, they will get such a bad deal. But if they just buy hex, they will definitely get the copy. So in 2 weeks, there is the only thing you can buy up front before Pulse Chain launches. If you really want to act on it as well in the beginning, you need to buy hex, because there you're sure that no Hexican will give it to you like for a zero value on the Pulse Chain.
Right.
So actually the best time to buy hex is right now, actually.
Yeah, I mean, we can also show the people what we did here in our Crypto Sparbook price analysis, what we did more for the German community, because in English we have Gerardo and other people talk about the price all the time. After the Pulse Chain sacrifice phase, we had this run up to the over 50 cents, had the correction, and it was like almost here where we told our community, guys, if we break above 33 cents again, then it could lead to a further downturn. We made this zone here. As you see, it holded pretty good, like just those 2 weeks in total or something, where we broke under it because of different computer hacks and problems. No, not problems. Computer hacks and private hacks. Yeah, like Super Sharks got hacked and so on. So then we started this fake out for the sacrifice phase. You see, like the last sacrifice phase on the first day up and then down channel, and here also first day up and then the down channel. And what happened after the sacrifice phase was over, we increased by several 100%. So it could be the same picture. So that's, I see a likelihood for that.
But sometimes it rhymes, right? What the past did. We never know if the same thing will come true, but well, that happened before. We'll sacrifice some more 2 days. Super Sapper, yeah, do what you need to do, because right now this would be the only way in order to participate in this ecosystem. Maybe later on you can buy hex, since you know it will be doubled. But actually, I think it's a great move to still sacrifice if you do not have any exposure yet.
So what will definitely be the worst strategy is now to wait in order to buy hex, because people are like, after the fork, won't it like break completely and then I get like way better deals on both chains?
Right.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah. Maybe, when we are like at 80 cents, then yes, that might be the case because the fork is pretty near, and maybe directly after the fork, yes, some people are selling off, but not
Yeah,
so much.
and that's one of the things about trading crypto. It doesn't really matter when you buy or what you buy. There's always something better somewhere, but it's not about calling the absolute top of the top and the absolute bottom of the bottom. And it's, I mean, I tell anybody that's trying to get rich in crypto in like 2 or 3 weeks, like you should probably just stop, even if it's going to work for you. It's not very beneficial. So
That's absolutely true. Yeah.
but it's a good time to buy, looking at at a more swing or long term position. If you're somebody that thinks maybe this is a good time to buy for 4 days from now, it might double. That's a day trader play, and
Yeah,
those
definitely,
people.
yeah.
If you're making those decisions for yourself, that's fine. But uh, if you want to buy for a more swing or long-term position, the USDC chart does look good.
And those people, they won't do a 10,000x or something like
Right.
that, because if they see a double, a 5x, they are out
Yeah.
and go party until
Absolutely.
the money is away.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone, yeah.
So Daniel is saying, hit the like, buy some hacks, and enjoy the day. If you like to have a look at Staker app on Android and iOS. XXX is saying, isn't it likely that a lot will dump their e-hacks when the pulse chain comes out? What do you guys think? Will people sell their hacks on Ethereum chain?
I think the traders might do that. So a traders game, especially in 2 weeks when the sacrifice phase will be officially over, the traders play will be buy hacks. So the traders play who wants to have Pulse X or Pulse. What is the traders play in 2 weeks? It is to buy hacks now, wait for the fork to occur, sell the hacks from the Ethereum chain, and buy Pulse and Pulse X on the Pulse chain.
Right.
So that will definitely be the traders play, but don't play the traders play, because when is the trader really coming? When Richard announces the fork
Right.
time frame.
Right.
So what can happen until he announces that's like over 2 weeks in the future, Hex can easily already go like 50% to 30 cents.
Right.
And then you already missed like the first gains, for example. And then it will be pretty chaotic for, especially if Richard only gives us a time frame for people trying to find out if the fork block already happened or not. So I wouldn't recommend to trade over this time.
And that's the same thing. There might be, there might be a day between now and the next hex pump that you could get like 8% more hex or something like that. But unless you're a day trader, if you just buy it and hold it, you'll make money. So it's not, it doesn't make any sense to try to buy something and make money in a couple of days unless that's what you do and that's what you're good at.
Because yes, looking at the current price chart, I would just zoom in a little bit more. Of course, you can say now this 22 cent line became a resistance. It broke here, it tested. But what is usually the next thing? It should be the breakout. Of course, before the breakout, it could go down another time and test like some other lows. But this volume here, and we are still in the daily chart, so that's not 15-minute chart or something like that. Looks pretty good, and now with the purchase of the diamond, with the Hex conference coming up, with tons of events going around, with tons of new YouTubers popping up, with a lot of new people, the train station gets fuller and fuller and fuller, and train is about to leave, I guess.
Yeah.
Really excited. We already know when the Pulse X sacrifice will end. We do not know when the fork will happen, but I have the feeling we are getting closer and closer and closer, and the momentum is really picking up. Look at our workshops. Look at all the numbers from all the Hex influencers. They are getting up as well. So it's getting really, really good. And now with Richard buying the big diamond, I think we will have a good publicity in the next couple of weeks.
I also think so. So, Troy, do you have a last question for us? Or, guys, do you have a last question for Troy?
Yeah, see if they have any. No, I think that I don't have any last questions, but I do think that the NASCAR is going to be a big deal.
Totally forgot about the NASCAR next week.
Is going to be a big deal, and that's like what I was saying. A good trader reads social cues just like they read the graphs with no emotions. there's going to be more people hearing about Hex, and once those people start to kind of buy, it's going to be harder to get in like you can right now. You know what I mean? Even if it goes down a little bit or not in the coming 3 weeks, in the next 3 months, it's probably going to maybe twice as many people that know about Hex today will know about Hex in 2 or 3 months, and that does affect price action.
So Richard is actually saying every indicator on crypto is basically shit. The only indicator that makes a good thing is how many people know about a coin today and will know about it in the future. And I think the upside in Hex is just gigantic. I even forgot about the NASCAR race in a couple of days it is, and really, really excited for that. So many good things are going on in the Hex ecosphere. It's amazing.
Yeah, just had a private talk with Motley yesterday, and Cabana jumped on it as well to coordinate the Hexicans there. What can we do? What kind of merch are we going to show off and all that stuff? How the Hexicans can take over Daytona.
And how we can take over Daytona is by shilling Daytona everywhere we go. Look at Motley here right now. He is at Cabana's stream. There are 188 people watching Cabana's stream, and Motley is shilling the NASCAR race, right? So, guys, we are almost done with our stream here.
Yes, let's go to Motley stream, everybody.
So I will put in the link for Motley stream here in the description. Just click on it, leave them a like and subscribe. Tell them that we rated them. Tell them you came from Crypto Sparbook. Tell them hashtag Hextona500. That would be amazing. And I think we are off now.
Yes, so thanks, Troy, for this interview. We had a blast with you, and thanks for everything you did as a Hexican for us in Austin, and thanks for joining us here in San Antonio as well. Guys, we are next week a little bit on the Bahamas, and then on Daytona. Then we are in Phoenix, and then we are looking forward to see you guys in Vegas in the beginning of March. Thanks a lot, Troy. Will you be in Vegas as well?
There's a chance. It depends on if I have to set things up for South by or not, because it's the same month.
It's the same. It's the same thing. It's like directly after the conference, not a South by Southwest in Austin.
Let's rate Cabana's show here. I already am in this chat. I already said hello. Let's go there. Let's make some noise, and let's use this hex hash here. Just copy paste it so we have all the same. Hextona 500. We will give them a quick rate here so they know Crypto Sparbook is watching.
All right, guys. So see you soon, and have fun and stake and chill. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.